A long time ago, a friend told me, a very wise friend told me, when I described I was annoyed at a girlfriend of mine, he said, you know, Ross, if you spot it, you got it.
So what's the best way to know if someone's quirky behavior is really masking a bigger problem? So let's take an example. So your guy is driving in traffic and just flips out, right? And maybe once or twice that's okay, but what if it's really masking something underneath, like an anger problem? What do you do if you're in a relationship and you don't know how to handle this?
It's a really good question, and there's a lot of things behind that, because is it masking his behavior, or are you selectively ignoring it? Right? You've got that filter that's saying, well, gee, now that I think of it, he's always done that, but I didn't notice that. So one person has the anger, the other person has the denial. So who has the issue, right?
Right.
So the way that I say is the way you feel is more important than the way they act. Right? So that you stay in touch with, I'm feeling something, so I should take note of that, rather than saying I've got a judgment about your behavior, your anger. You know, if that anger doesn't have consequences and it's not directed at you, it's rather judgmental to say, well, you shouldn't have that anger. Right? That person's having a feeling. You know, I think of emotion as an arousal, not a feeling, but you know, they're frustrated, they're having a difficult time. So I think it's very important for us to suggest to ourselves, like, am I blocking a few of these red flags that are being shown? And have I done that over time? And did I just wake up out of this haze and say, you know, maybe this, in your example, fellow has an anger problem, but I've been in denial, so maybe I should work on me too.
I think that's really important. We all have some less than delicious qualities. And I think that number one is talk about it. But I think there's a very special way to do that. Pick a time when you're feeling tender and comfortable and secure, not when you're all charged up. And then I say, own a little bit of what I'm working on and talk about how difficult that is. And then gently and tenderly bring up what the concern is. And then, I think, offer positive recommendations for how we might work with this. And finally, love him up. Let him know when he succeeds, very specifically. Let him know exactly the times and the places when he is really working on it. And then honor that he's working as hard as he can. And if he's not, then look at it again and decide what the next step is in your own process.
It's interesting. A long time ago, a friend told me, a very wise friend told me, when I described I was annoyed at a girlfriend of mine, he said, you know, Ross, if you spot it, you got it. And what that taught me is those characteristics that bother me most might be the parts of myself that I don't want to accept or acknowledge. So when we are talking about girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, wives, partners that annoy us, I suggest that we take, before we say anything or do anything, is take a deep breath and think about what part of that is me. Because I know that people that are impatient often annoy me a lot, but the truth be told is I'm a little bit impatient also. And I think that's a great opportunity for self-growth, is to weigh the gravity of the annoyance, reflect on which part is yourself, and then after you discern how much is yourself and how much is them, and then talk about it. And you probably always will find out that a little bit is about both of you.
I agree with that, and I think there's another piece. Sometimes I have to say to my clients, whose face do you have on your partner right now? Because excellent. They've taken it from another relationship, they're expecting a certain way of being and a certain outcome, and they're reacting to their old relationship partner as opposed to the person who's sitting right in front of them.
You know, there's an old AA slogan that is, every time you have ill feelings for somebody else, there's something wrong with you. There might be a whole lot wrong with them, too, but there seems to be something wrong with you. That's very hard to embrace. why am I so angry at that person? Or why am I upset? Why do I care that he gets angry as he's driving a car?
Exactly.
I mean, why is my response to what it is? I mean, the only person you can really control on this planet is yourself.
That's right.
And it's amazing how when you change, everybody else around you changes too.
Isn't it amazing?
I think it's really important too to get to know who you're with. That sounds so simple, but gently observing, is this just another part of one of his very best qualities? Because they do have balance. And so this anger might be an ability to move mountains, to affect people, to lead. And so I think, as a relationship therapist, to let people know this has probably got a really great quality on the other side of it.
So it sounds like what the panel is saying is that sometimes these quirky behaviors can actually be signs of good things. You know, your anger is masking leadership, right? But over time, if it's repeating itself and going on, then that's a sign that something else is potentially problematic, and you should probably talk to someone. Reach out to these fine people. I'm sure one of them can help you.